Okay, okay.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much. So let's go on to the questions. I don't know. I've been on for ages. I don't know how long I've been on for, but quite a long time. I've started recording again, so I'm going to go to the questions now, properly, officially. Your full name,
Marlene K.
no middle names.
No, no middle names.
Age,
30.
when did you turn 30?
April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that? Is it good? Is it all right? Did it feel any different? What did you think? Were you scared about it? Were you happy about it? What?
Well, it doesn't feel different, but I just hate. I'm dreading someone asking me what age I am. You're the first person to ask me what age I am. I just
It
feel
feels wrong,
like
does
it
it?
makes me. It feels old to say I'm 30. So, but I don't like. I don't feel different,
No, that's
and
right.
I definitely feel like I'm
And who do
30.
you live with? Do you live with your mum and dad? Do you live with you married? What?
Yeah. I just live with my mum, so it's just me and my
You get
mum.
on okay? You don't fight?
No, no, we get on good.
You must.
So
I guess you must do. Your home area,
yeah,
I already know that it's Irvine. Good. Do you
yeah,
have any brothers or sisters that played as well?
yeah. Yeah, I've got one little
That's
sister and she played.
that's cool. Um, um, did she start? When did she start? I know you started at about 7. You said. Did she start when
Yeah,
you
so
were young? Was she young, or did she start when you were 9, kind of thing, or what?
no, she started the same
Did
time
she?
as me, so she would have been like 5. It was more me who was the one that my mum like was wanting me to start, but just cause my sister, she would come as well, and then she also liked it.
Why
So
was that? Why did your mum want you to start? She just, I guess your guy Ronnie just said that you're really good, and she was
yeah, well,
encouraging you, I suppose.
yeah, it's well, I like all sports. So
Yeah.
when I was younger, I'm really, really sporty. So I tried like everything. I used to play football. I done some karate, like gymnastics. I tried and then it was just this little boy who lived in my street.
Ah.
We had just like a cheap badminton set, and we were playing it out my front door, and we were using the path
Yeah.
leading up to my house as like a net, and my mum was watching, and she just thought I
Really.
was quite good.
Yeah. Good.
So she started looking about to see if there was any clubs, and then that's when she found Ronnie Lithgow's club
What's that?
that was on a Tuesday and Thursday. So it was at the Magnum Leisure Centre in Orphan. That's been knocked down now, but that's where it was. So I just started going to that, and then and I've played ever since.
Isn't that amazing? And that's all from playing in the garden
Yeah, yeah.
with your wee sister.
She didn't really. I don't think she played in the garden. I think she more watched,
Yeah.
but
And was
she
it?
would
Is it?
just
Is
come.
it? Listen, do you want to turn your camera off and on again?
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. It's okay. It's okay. You're
Oh,
back. Something happened there. Without you
oh,
doing anything, your camera started again. It was still for ages there.
yeah,
No, that's good.
yeah.
No, that's fine. So, yeah, it's not amazing. And why does your mum play badminton?
She didn't before, but she played once we started just to help her. She used to feed for me and my sister, and my papa played a bit as well. So we used to do like some doubles for practice. Like I would play with like my papa, my sister would play with my mum, just like wee things like that. So they only started though because we did. They didn't play before.
And obviously there was a lot. There's a big kids club. Is there a club as well for grown ups and that kind of thing at the same time? Was that happening as well?
Um, didn't know at the time, but when I got older, I started going to an adults club, and it was at the Magnum as
What, like
well.
13,
And it
14 kind of thing? Really?
ran the club, so he invited me to go. So I got. He's
Who?
called Andy Tremble. He actually runs a kids badminton club now in Orphan, and it's really really busy. But
Yeah,
but he
brilliant.
was my main coach. Like I'd say, like he coached me a lot. But the main thing was I would meet up with him twice a week and play singles with him. And at first, when I first met him, I was about 11, and he would thrash me every single game. So that was like my thing. Like
Is
that.
He was your motivation. He was the guy you try to beat all the
So
time.
every single time I would try and get closer and closer, and eventually, I think when I was about 14, I would start beating him a few games, and then I would gradually be beating him every game. So he was like my main person.
What age was he?
Well, I think he's about, I don't want to say too old. I think he's about 60 now. So this was about 15 years ago.
Aye.
Or even longer than that, actually.
Do you think he was maybe mid-40s or so? Maybe 40
early 40s. So, and it was just by chance. My dad knew him, and he said to my dad was telling him, like, oh, Marlene's been playing badminton, and he said, oh, I used to be really good at badminton. Like, and you get folk that always say that they were good. So we kind of went down for a game to just see, and then he turned out he was really, really good. So it turned into a thing. We used to meet up twice a week for like 5-6 years and just play singles all the time. So I think he was my main reason. I think as a junior, I was really strong, and I think like a strong player, like quite an aggressive singles player. So, and I think it was down to always playing a gap.
What do you think it was? Do you think it was defensive, his smashes?
Yeah,
I think that's part of it, the big part of it, because guys have got
because it was just like
strong
so
smashes
strong
and learning to
it was just like so strong, so quick, like.
So whenever you came up against girls, right, it seemed easy, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt, because I was so used to playing a guy. Yeah. So when I was going into my age group competitions, like I felt much stronger than them at the time when we were playing. So I think he was like my main coach for about 5-6 years.
Did he go when you went to tournaments and stuff? Would he go and watch?
No, what? He didn't go and watch actually. He just heard about it after. It was just my mum and my papa took me everywhere. They were at every competition.
How often did you go to tournaments and play away?
Like if I remember at a time I was probably at a competition every single weekend, like as a junior. So it was a lot.
Was there any school badminton?
Well, no, there wasn't in the school I went to, but there was a lot of like Ayrshire schools, like competition kind of things where anyone in Ayrshire could enter, but there wasn't any badminton in my like, actual school. No one else really played. But I used to go to a club. This was when I was in primary, and when I went into secondary, it was on a Friday night, and I think it was just called like the Ayrshire Schools like badminton club in the whole of Ayrshire. Like anyone could go, like better kind of players, more serious players, and it would just be like a games night where anyone in Ayrshire would all come together.
Was the sports centre local to you, the biggest sports centre in Ayrshire at the time?
Yeah, that was the Magnum. I don't know if it was the biggest in Ayrshire, but it was very, very big.
And very popular for badminton.
Yeah, popular within like Orphan and like North Ayrshire. If anyone in North Ayrshire, that you would go to the Magnum if you wanted to play badminton. I think that's the main, but that's gone now. So it got knocked down.
Where do they play now?
There's a new one. It's called the Portal, and it's still in Orphan, but it's not. It's the Magnum used to have like everything, like squash courts, swimming, ice skating, all that. The Portal's just more like a gym. It does have a sports hall with badminton, but I don't know how popular it is. I've never played there or anything. So
Magnum sounds quite impressive.
Yeah, the Magnum was really good. I think the whole of Orphan was upset when they decided to knock it down.
Peter Kay calls it Sunshine Indoors. Have you heard of that? He goes to Blackpool. He says, "What is it? The future? Sunshine Indoors, badminton, ice hockey, bowling, you name it, all of it."
Yeah.
What age were you first played? 7?
Yeah, 7 or 8.
Right.
I would say.
What was your main motivation, Ronnie Lithgow?
Yeah, well, that was
And your mum, right?
Ronnie, yeah, she was the one that started me off, so that was why I started playing. Then Ronnie Lithgow, that I'd say maybe like 2 to 3 years. He done a lot with me, and got me into a lot of like different clubs, like playing a lot of different people. And then I actually moved to a different club. It was in Troon, South Ayrshire. It was a guy called Robert Gaw. So he coached me as well for a few years. He was a good player. He was also someone I used to play at singles.
Gore? Gore.
Gaw, Gaw. He was from Troon, so he done a bit of coaching with me. He actually took over from Ronnie Lithgow's club, because as Ronnie got older, he just couldn't keep up doing it. So Robert took over the Tuesday and Thursday night at the Magnum, and that's kind of how I met Robert Gaw. Then I started going to his clubs in Troon. So he done a bit of coaching with me, and then after Robert, I met Andy Tremble, who was my main kind of person, and I was in like the Scottish as I got a bit older, like under 13, under 15, under 17 kind of thing.
I
was in like
Craig Robertson at under 13. Is that
yeah, I met him. I think I knew him before under 13, but I'd been to a few like kind of badminton camps.
What lads?
And I had Inverclyde,
yeah.
and I don't know where the other one was. I forget, but there was another one that wasn't in Largs, and he was the main coach there as well.
Larbert, was it? I've heard that there's one in Grangemouth, Larbert area.
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't even remember. But it seemed at the time when my papa drove me there, it took ages to get there, and I'd only ever been once, so I don't know where it was. But he was.
Were even?
Craig Robertson was definitely one.
Dan Travers, no?
No, but I think he did come for a day. There was a few coaches, like they would come in for, I think, because it was a week, so it was the Monday to Friday. I'm sure Dan came in for a day. I think he came in as well for a day. And I don't remember the other ones, but definitely Craig Robertson was the head coach.
How long did you go for, Marlene?
Like to that camp.
So when you went to a camp, how long was it? Was it a summer camp? Was it a week, or what was it?
Yeah, it was in the summer. So this one that I'm talking about now was like a Monday to Friday, and then there was the ones in Larg was like a Friday to Monday. So like Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. And it was all just badminton. You would get up, we'd do runs in the morning, and that was my worst hate. We'd get up at like 7 in the morning and go running. But then I hate running. So we used to do that, and then just badminton all day, and then
was that living the dream at the time?
Yeah, and then we'd do games at night. That was my favourite bit, just playing games.
Just mixing it all up, and was it very structured?
Yeah, there was always like a kind of outline of what we'd be doing, so we'd kind of know every day what kind of things we'd be working on. Like every day was like kind of would work on different things, all that, and then the games we'd play at night was like a chance to like kind of practice what we'd learned that day, kind of thing. So, but I loved going to all that kind of thing.
What do you feel about badminton now?
Yeah, I still love it. I still really I do love badminton. I love watching it. I love like playing. I love just everything. I love
the sport. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It does something to you, doesn't it? And I don't know if it's reminiscent. I don't know if it's reminiscent of times that you've had or people that you've met and all of those things. There's just something about it, and it takes you to another place when you go to play badminton. I think it takes you to a different place somehow. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever stresses you've got in life, you walk on that court and you're allowed to be a different person. You're allowed to be. So here's a question: your first ever racket?
Okay, right. So I've got two answers for this. My first racket, like just initial racket, it was
in the garden, was it?
Well, that was even, I don't even know what that was. That wasn't even a band.
You said it was a set, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of the cheap sets. But my first kind of racket that I went to the club with was a Yonex, and it had like the T joint.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I just liked the look out of it, and I used that for a few years. But that guy I was saying, Robert Gaw, he had this racket in his badminton bag. It was a Prince racket, and it had like the V like that.
Oh yeah.
And it had all it had was the letter P for Prince on it, and it was blue. And he told me I loved it so much, and he gave it to me, and he said, like, they don't do these rackets anymore. Right. I don't even know what brand it is. So this is only one, and I ended up snapped it, and then that was it. So I lost my favourite racket, but that was my first proper racket that I loved.
And do you still have a racket? Do you have a racket now? And what do you play with? I'm going to jump to that question.
Yeah, my current one, and it's like my most favourite racket is the Yonex Arc Saber.
11.
Z/.
Oh, Z. What's that?
Is it the Arc Saber Z/? I just think that's the best racket ever.
How many rackets have you got?
Oh, I've got quite a lot. I've got maybe about 6 or 7. I don't have any of the same though, so every single racket is different. but my number one racket is the Arc Saber Z/.
That was the name of your first club. What was the name of the club itself?
I think it was just Orphan Badminton Club, or maybe Orphan Junior Badminton Club.
What kind of shuttles did you use at the club? First club, like when you were 7 with the plastic, I guess.
Yeah, it was RSL. I think they're called RLS.
RSL, yeah.
And they were plastic. And up until my very first competition, I'd never used a feather, and then I went to a competition and they had feather shuttles, and I was so amazed. Like, I'd never seen a feather before.
It's such a different thing as well, isn't it?
I know.
And how did you, the first time you ever played in a tournament with them, how did you play compared to?
Yeah, I really liked them, but I was just like, when I first seen them, I was shocked. Because I didn't even know you could get feathers at that time. But I loved them much better.
All that time you played with Robert Gore, you used plastics all the time?
Yeah, all the time. It was just always plastics.
It's so cheap, that's the thing, isn't it? Plastics, you spend 20 quid in the last 6 months. You spend 20 quid on feathers and they're gone in a night,
Yeah, I know.
So coaching, we've covered all the coaching. First ever tournament and trophy. Okay,
so probably my first ever tournament was like an Ayrshire kind of thing. I'm not sure exactly, but I brought up my first trophy because I looked it out for you because I read all the questions. So this was my first trophy. It was at the Pennycook under 10.
Really?
And
really?
Yeah,
else
and
was Who else was that? Was it Kaylin Pringle that was at that? Who was it?
It could have been. She's 2 years younger than me though, so it wouldn't have been the same.
Yes, the same.
She But this was.
You don't do anything like that now.
Yeah, I know. So this was. I got to the semi-final of the doubles. So.
Wow, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. That was I love that.
It says.
I had one like that. They're plastic and had a marble base. Yes.
Yeah. So it's 2001.
Is it?
So that's another one. Yeah, and then I looked out my first ever trophy. I won my winner trophy.
What was that trophy for singles?
That one was actually doubles.
Was that?
So my first trophy was for doubles. No, I didn't play with my sister at that time. I played with a girl that went to Ronnie's club. She was called Fiona. So she lived in Orphan, so we got to the semi-final.
Did she still play?
It was late. No, she stopped really young, but she done dancing and gymnastics as well. So she kind of wanted to concentrate more on that. But we did play. That was like my first partner, and we played in a few competitions and done quite good. So
well done. But what was the next one? You got another one? Did you say?
Oh yeah. So I've got two to bring you. So this was my first ever trophy, or if it wasn't my first trophy I won, it's like one of the first, and it is the East Lothian Junior under 12 girls singles.
Wow, look at that's a proper trophy. Look at that. That is
So
proper.
this is one of my favourite ones.
I know.
So I was glad
That was
that this was
East Lothian under 12s. Wow.
yeah,
What year
and
was
that was
that?
for 2003.
Where was that played? In Haddington? In North Berwick?
It would have. I'm sure it would have been played at Meadowbank.
Not East Lothian. Not
Um,
East Lothian. East Lothian must have been
um,
Haddington or somewhere. Is it Lothian or East Lothian?
it says East
That
Lothian.
must be Haddington or North Berwick. It's got to be.
Uh,
It's got to be.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
In that case, it's probably. I wonder if Eddie O'Neill's will know about this one. Do you know that name?
Yeah, I know. I remember him.
Well, he went to East Lothian.
Yeah.
He moved to East Lothian, and he was heavily involved in badminton. Yeah, but I don't know, maybe it's before then. I'm not sure. He'll hopefully watch this. I'll tag him and he'll see if he remembers. So it's East Lothian. What was the trophy called? East Lothian what? Ladies singles under 12.
Yeah, so it's the East Lothian Junior Championships, under 12 girls singles.
How many people would go? How busy was it? Do you remember how busy it was when you went to these tournaments?
Yeah, it was really busy. I'd say, like, see my kind of time when I was a junior, like a few, like the age groups above me, a couple above me, and the ones below me. It was really, really a lot of good players at the time. There was so many like good players. I remember like entering like ranking competitions, and there'd be like 30 plus girls all playing. Like it was so busy.
I don't think you get anything like that now, you know.
No, because I sometimes look at like the results and stuff, and just the numbers compared to when I played. They're so little now, but it was when I played. There was so much competition, so many people playing, like across all the kind of age groups.
When you played badminton, were you doing other sports as well, Marlene, or was it just badminton?
No, when I turned about 10, it was all badminton. But before that, I liked football, so I was in a football team. And actually, there was a badminton club and a football club, and they were all on the same nights. So then that forced me to pick, and I picked badminton. So that was and then I just concentrated on badminton altogether, and I played every single night, like when I was younger.
What did you think of that? What did you think of when you're going through school and stuff like that? What did you think of what you wanted to do? You start getting guidance teachers saying this or that or the next thing. What did you want to do? How did you think? Did you think about it being a job or what?
Well, I did a bit, but I think as I got older, with the squad set up and stuff, I feel like I was quite overlooked a lot of the time, and as I got older, I thought it felt as if it would be quite impossible to kind of make it into a career, just because a lot of folk were getting picked that I was better than to be in the squad. So as I got older, it kind of felt,
you start to get demoralised a bit about the whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm beating all these people, but I'm still not getting picked for certain things, stuff like that. So, but I mean, I would have liked to have continued, and that's really the reason once I got to about 17, 18, I did kind of just stop playing altogether for a few years, because I just felt
scunnered is the word you're looking for. Scunnered, I think, is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, and once you get to that age, like everything stops because you're not a junior anymore. So there's no junior. I was in like the junior national squad and the development squad for a bit and stuff like that. But once you get to like 17, 18, that all stops, and you either need to like pay for coaching yourself and do it all yourself, and like if you want to do all the big competitions, you'll need to fund it all yourself. So it's kind of like I just like gave up after that.
Did you feel that was probably quite upsetting when you have you go through all of those years and the focus is really on you to make you improve and get better and better and better, and if you're not better enough by a certain age, then the light starts going off you, and then it starts seeing it focused on other people.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like frustrating at the
Quite
time, like because you
emotional. I think
feel,
it's emotional. I think it's quite.
yeah,
You'd be excused for not being upset about
yeah,
something that you love and you've focused and you give all your energy to, and then it just kind of, like you say, somebody else comes through at that age, right? 13-year
yeah,
old, all the focus goes like you had when you were 13. All of a sudden, that
yeah,
focus is on that new person at 13, and then
yeah,
sorry to
yeah,
say that inevitably they get to 17, 18, and the same happens, and it goes round and
yeah.
round and round.
There's probably loads of people
Yeah,
with this
and how
like the same
and
story.
now did and when I suppose what brought you back to love
I
it
just,
again?
I always still loved it, but I just felt I just needed a break from it, and then I still kept up with like results, and I always watched it on YouTube and all that, and then just something just made me want to
Missed it.
start playing again. So I started looking at clubs round about and everything,
Okay.
and then I just really got back into it and started
And you
playing
remembered
in.
the key thing is you remembered why you loved it in the first place, right? You have
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
time when it's becoming a career, and I speak to professionals who, you talk to them and you say, would you consider after a day of coaching and going up to the Scottish national, up to the the Coburn Centre all day and getting coached all day, would you consider your pals phoning you up saying fancy going for a game of badminton and going, oh danger?
yeah,
You've
yeah,
gotta love it. You've got to remember why you loved it, and the amount of people I
yeah,
see in the sport who, that's the plan. That's the trajectory. You start really young. You play it till you're 17, and then even if you are successful, you play up to 24, 25. You know, push 30, and then it stops, and you kind of fall out of love with it. But at some point, you do go back and say, why did if I think quite often I see professionals doing badly, and I think if you remembered why you loved it in the first place, you'd do a lot better.
yeah,
People get into their
yeah,
head about losing, and just remember why you started and go back, right? Go
yeah,
back to enjoying it again, because they just get
yeah,
like, I think Hans Vertingus is a classic example. He gets in his head, and he loved it. He's a Dane. They all love it over there, and he loved it. He loved playing. He's a good laugh and all that stuff, but it gets in his head, and sometimes you just got to go back and say, just go and play a club night somewhere. Like, just go and
yeah,
meet up with your
yeah,
pals and play a club night and think, God, I remember why I love this game. No, that's it. That's it,
yeah.
isn't it? And do you still play singles?
Well,
Oh
I
yeah, you
did.
told me about your knee. Yeah, what
I've
was
got
that?
yeah, but I still went before money and everything. Singles was still my main thing, so um, I just still love
So were you the
singles.
same
But
time? Did you kind of grow up playing at the same time as Cassie Gilmour? You're a wee bit older, obviously.
she's 2 years younger than me, but she was in my little sister's
Was
age
she?
group, so they played against each other a lot. So I know, and Kirsty used to play up in a lot of
Did
my
she?
competitions as well. So I know like a lot of the age groups younger because of my
Did you
sister,
ever play
and
against
then I
her?
used
Did you ever play against her?
yeah, I played it a few
Did you ever
times.
win?
I beat her at the time, but
Yes.
that definitely wouldn't be happening now.
Claim to fame. Yes, love that.
Yeah,
That's it. Successful. But I think we can clearly say it's singles. His favorite event. Who's your main competition growing
yeah.
up? Who was your main competition? I think I might put that as who was the guy? Was it Andy Tremble that you played all the time at singles?
Well, yeah, so out of actual proper competitions, he was my main
Good.
competition. He was my main person that I need to, like, I was always, I need to beat him. He was my
What was
target.
it? What did you like? Did you like returning his smashes? Would you like him just to lift and smash at you all the time? I quite like that. Well,
Yeah,
I've got a pal that's got a really strong
yeah,
smash, and I just quite like defending it always.
yeah. I think I've got good defense. Like didn't do have good defense. So, and probably it was because of him. That's why I got so good at defense, because he did have a hard smash. So
Yeah.
I like defending. I like just like real like when I play people who are also like a strong kind of player that'll do a lot of smashing
Hard.
clears and like really like that kind of play
Powerful.
is what I like. I hate the kind of wee like a lot of drops and nets. Like always struggled against the type of players. I prefer like a powerful player.
We know how to beat you. If I ever play against you, I know how to play you. Just loads of drops. So on the current time, I suppose, what clubs do you play at now?
Well, before my knee,
so tell me about your knee. What happened with that?
Okay, so it was about 7 years ago. I was playing in a competition in England. It was the Lancashire Gold. I was playing. The girl was called Georgina Bland. I don't know if she still plays. And she played a shot. I was hitting a round the head smash, and it was quite I really had to stretch for it. And as I was about to land, I knew she was going to cross block. So just the moment I landed, I must have just twisted at the same time so quickly, and snapped my ACL. And then after scans and all that, it turned out I'd snapped my ACL, I'd torn my MCL and my PCL, and I'd torn both my meniscus. So I got the surgery in September there. So it was quite the only injury I've ever had in my life.
So how long ago did that happen? Years ago?
Yeah, years ago, because when I first done it, it was like a long process. They were saying that it's just a sprain and it'll get better, rest it. So I would rest it, and then I'd start playing again. I'd maybe hurt it, and then I'd be thinking, oh, maybe it's just
I guess you strap it up all the time, do you?
Yeah, so it went on and on and on, and then finally I got scans and everything. So that, and it turned out that it was, I'd done all that to it, and I still played with it for a full year. Like I'd done that. I was just always careful though. Like I could never go round the head after the injury. I always had to go backhand. I'd always go round the head. Like before that, I'm never play. Like I try and never do a backhand.
Me too. I was taught that with singles. If you take it on your backhand, it's just being lazy. That's what I've always.
That's same. Like I very rarely would I do a backhand. So that's what happened to my knee. But before that, I played at a guy. He's called David Barr. He ran a club in Kilmarnock. I think he used to. I think he was used to be the president of Badminton Scotland years ago. And he's done a lot. Like I think he used to coach Imogen Banker, I think, for a little bit when she was young, and so he done a wee bit of coaching with me, like when I was older, and in his club he'd give me some tips and stuff. So that was the main club I went to, and then you had Jim Torrance on the other month, I think it was. I went to the club in Drungen.
Good club, that.
Yeah, that's a really good club. So I'd been to that a few times, but that was right before I hurt my knee. So I'd only been a couple of times, and then I'd hurt my knee, so I stopped going to that at the time. And then I played. It was the Glasgow and North Strathclyde like kind of league. I went every Wednesday to their like club game nights, so I played in that club as well. But that once I hurt my knee. Yeah. She went to that one when I went, so I'd only really started going. I'd only been there maybe like 2 or 3 months, and then I hurt my knee as well. So every club it just seemed like I was starting to get to all these really good clubs, and then I hurt my knee and had to stop.
So does that make single a no-go for now? Then do you think singles is a no-go? There's too much risk involved in singles? Do you think?
Yeah, I'd probably be too scared to play just like with it just now. Just because I'd probably be scared to go out never again, but it was a very bad injury.
I've got to ask you, one thing I would like to know is, I can't see on camera what height you are.
I am 5'2" /3.
Funny, isn't it? Like I say, you can't see. I mean, I've seen Caitlin Pringer's pictures. She's massive.
She's really tall.
But you can't see on camera. Like I wouldn't have a clue. So I'm going to start asking that. I'm going to add that question. Height. I think it's quite relevant to badminton. So does that make you a wee rocket about the court, really?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say I'm quite fast and powerful.
Yeah. And do you think you're very well taught? Have you got good technique? Do you think in yourself? What do you think is your downfall?
I think I think I'm quite well, but my
Like your stuff.
front my footwork I'd say is good because I've done a lot of that when I was younger. And like technique, I would say it's all right, like quite good. I think my downfall was like front court play. So if I'm playing singles or doubles, like nets, like getting to drops and like doing a good return off someone's
see somebody
drop.
that's tall and it
that,
just seems so effortless, doesn't it? It's quite intimidating when you see these, PV Sindhu and stuff. Personally, she just go corner to corner, and you think, why is this so? I mean, I'm quite sure I'm 5'7", and I think, see Victor Axelsen. I met him, and I met Anders as well. Anders doesn't look that tall, but got a picture of him, and he's like that. Monstrous. And you think, what? These people get corner to corner. And it's and I've got to fight. I've got my footwork's never been great because I just run it down, right? So, but I'm same as you. I still play singles, but I'm not. I think my what lets me down is actually my stamina. Which I literally I'm curled in half. I still try hard, but I think everybody takes it easy on me.
That was probably my downfall actually as well. My fitness. I was quite unfit. Like just even when I was playing at my best, I was quite unfit because I hated doing all the fitness side of things. So that was a big downfall, and still was like the full time. That would be. I'd probably say that was my biggest kind of thing. My fitness levels were really low.
Jim Mailer. I don't know if you saw that interview. He's a runner. Badminton player, but a runner. He just said, "I love the running. I love the running." Yeah. I said, "What do you love about badminton?" Which is the same question everybody gets, and he says, "It's the fitness. I love it. I love the fact I was always when I ran, I was running to make myself fitter when I'm playing badminton, and it was a combination of this." He loves the running. He loves that stamina. And, I want to be on court when I'm on court against Bruce Flocker. I want to be able to run and run and run and run and wear him down, which is something I've never had. Being able to wear somebody down. Just be so fit. You see people. Some people are just, not great technique, not great smashes, not great this, but they will run all day long. That drives me nuts.
My mum is a runner. She used to run like British level athletics when she was young, and she always tried to get me to go runs. Like she used to try and force me to go out with her.
I do run now a bit, and I like it for that, but I've just got bad genes. I've got bad genes. You don't have that excuse, but I've got bad genes, Marlene. Okay. So you still love singles, but do you have a favourite partners? Have you got a doubles partner now? Who would you say in all the years that you've played was hard one? Who is your favourite and most consistent partner? Do you think, Ollie?
So there's two. So I played with a girl called Lauren from Mauchline. We actually won the nationals. She's the same age as me. So she was my partner for quite a few years, but also my sister. We won quite a lot. My sister will say, and she still says it to this day, she hated playing with me because I would shout at her and like I'd be so aggressive towards her.
It's yours.
She always reminds me, like once when we were playing, we were it was the third set, it was 14-11, and we were up 14-11 and we lost the serve, and then my sister was like to me, "Oh, it's okay, we can still do it." And then I'd say to her, "Oh, shut up, like if we don't win this, I will kill you." And she always reminds me, but
I will kill you. I will murder you.
Like probably like anyone that remembers me playing probably used to hate playing doubles with me because I couldn't help like getting angry with them. Like I was really one of the players. Like I was got so angry on the court. Like, and my sister says she absolutely hated playing with me because I'd shout at her so much. She was scared to do just any mistakes. But we still did win quite a lot. So.
And
we done well
do you
together.
still play? Do you play mixed or not at all?
No, but when I did play at the clubs like Davy Bar's club or whatever, we did play mixed, but I always just played it as a level with the guy, so I didn't play mixed.
I think it's a lot of it's just. I think, Marlene, it's just in communication. If it's hard when you don't know somebody to communicate things to people that you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't want to come across as whatever. But I think if people know what your strengths are, which I think is really important when you have a partner, you know what somebody else's strengths are and what makes them what makes them happy. Then you'd probably find a guy that loves the net. That plays.
Yeah.
I mean, when I obviously I play men's doubles, but I know players who are exceptional at the net, and they, by their own admission, love playing the net. So that's probably what you want. That's probably what you want. You want somebody with a touch, isn't it? You do get guys that aren't particularly strong, but they've got a good touch. I know a couple that have got like unusually good touch, cross court, amazingly tight drops. Really, really flexible and that kind of thing. And I suppose I'm probably quite like that. I suppose I play with a guy who's with a few people who are very strong at the back and picking off at the net. I quite like it. But you're right. But equally, the difficulty you find in mixed is that a lot of the times you are the exception. Quite a lot of times when if a lady is pushed at the back, then when you play in mixed, somebody will take advantage of that if they're not strong enough to get corner to corner or back to back. I think it's a critical thing, isn't it? My mixed partner is excellent. I would say she's better than me at the back, actually. Mags Paul, she's amazing at the back. Better than me, probably, yeah. So, okay. Listen, that's good. We've been, I must have been on for an hour by now. My goodness, it's incredible. And do you still feel very competitive? That's a question for you.
Yes, so always not just I'm competitive anyway. Doesn't with everything. So it doesn't matter what it is. If it's something to be won, I need to win it. So it doesn't matter. Whatever it is I'm doing.
You want to try and win it.
I like to be the best and win like anything. So I don't think that will ever go away.
And do you think you have when you think back to badminton and when you played badminton, all the time you played and all the years you played, what is the highlight? What's the highlight and what's the low light? What's the best thing that ever happened to you on in badminton? What's the worst thing that ever happened?
Well, the worst thing is my knee. That's probably the worst thing that's happened. That's like the first thing that comes in my head, and I can't really think of anything else really bad. And just thought the best. There's not one particular best, but just every time I won anything, like
there's no particular event that you won that you thought.
Well, not one particular, but I did win the Ayrshire Schools 6 years in a row, and I won the Scottish Schools 3 years in a row. So that's like a kind of standout kind of thing that I went, and there was a few seasons I went through every single ranking event and won them all. And even playing up an age group, I won all the ranking events of the season. So they little things are the things that first come into my head when I think back to playing. And me and my sister also won the Ayrshire Schools, which was quite a big deal because my sister was 2 years younger playing it up. So that was a big thing at the time.
She was at the net, right? You were at the back, she was at the net, right?
Yeah. She played at the front. So the ones are I'd say is my main one. That first come in my head when I think what was the kind of best achievement kind of things I done.
And when do you go back to playing again, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I'm actually playing tonight. Me and my boyfriend are going. I'm only feeding though, so he wants to practice some drop shots and. Yeah, he plays in the club I was talking about, David Barr's club. He's just started going again because it started back up. So he's not played since Manny either. He kind of stopped playing because we'd always play together. So I'm just going
to
feed
through
for him.
Badminton as well?
Yeah, I met him when I was like 16 at
Really?
a club I went to, so that's how we first met. So, and he was a late to start though. I think he started when he was like maybe 14 or 15, and he didn't do competitions or anything. He just went to the club like that I went to, so that's where I met him. So I'm actually going for the first time tonight to do some feeding for him.
Fantastic.
So that'll be my
That's you.
first
That's your
goal.
coaching. That's your coaching career started. Charge them £10 an hour for the laugh. That's brilliant. And last question is, what is it you love about badminton? Why did you choose badminton over other things? Yeah.
Well, I just love competition. Like I said, like a lot of people say they love it for the social, like all that. I do like that as well. But the main thing is like I love anything that involves competition, and that's just what I love about it. Like
Competing.
playing matches, playing games, competing, winning, all that. That's what I love most. Like I do like the kind of social side and making new friends and whatever. But to me, even when I was younger, it was more all about the playing, the matches, and the competition side of it. I just loved.
Can I ask
So
one
that
last
I
question?
would.
This is the last question, right? What? Who was?
Yeah.
Who do you think? Who did you get the most satisfaction from beating?
Well, that guy Andy Tremble, I got a lot of stuff.
Good.
So, because he was my a target for years, so once I beat him, I was so happy. But there was a few players like when I used to play against them, and we always had like good games. And if you beat someone who you knew it was going to be a good game against, that always was like an extra like kind of boost that it could have went kind of if it could have went either way and you managed to beat them, then I love that kind of feeling as well. So
right, well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed that. I hope it was okay for you, Marlene. I know you're very nervous about it, but it's okay, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I done fine.
You did.
I
think
hope.
you did fine too. That's great. Well, enjoy your game tonight, and we'll speak again soon. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, Marlene.
Bye.